All right, calling from a 847 area code. You are probably the final caller of the day. Hello, who's this?
Hi, Sam. It's Josh from Chicago.
Josh from Chicago. Long time no hear from.
Yeah, same. Likewise. Long time no hear from you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's why obvious. We would.
I know Emma just didn't talk to me at convention, probably because I'm a Bears fan. We're gonna have a better record than the Giants, but that's okay. I'll forgive you.
Was that you, Josh, who was asking for me for my Giants prediction?
Might have been.
I'm
Probably
sorry
not.
if I didn't get to talk to you too much. I feel badly. I was being pulled in a bunch of
No,
different
no.
directions, and Hassan is like this like gravitational force, and you gotta try to just
3 and 14.
keep moving with it. Yeah, because if we stayed in
Um,
one place, he'd just get mobbed.
no, that's okay. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I actually have COVID right now, so it sucks. But
Oof.
Oh.
other than that, I'm okay. Um, yeah, I wanted to talk about sort of what the last caller talked about with Sherrod Brown and the idea of him running for Senate, and also something you said, Emma, about Hakeem Jeffries, right? And
Hmm.
like the chance to like convince him to endorse Zora. And I think for me, like one, I'd be very wary of like discounting people who take money from J Street because like Rashida Tlaib took money from J Street, for example, right? And I think like to me that's like a more gray area considering like historically where J Street has been. But I also think we back in like 2019 we had to like convince Hakeem Jeffries to sign on to Medicare for all, which he did. And I think the way we went about doing it was actually going to like the places in his constituency that he cares about the most. So like organizations within his constituency that he cares about, that he has good relationships with them, and allow them to get mad at him for not supporting Medicare for all. And I think that's a similar thing. That's what's going to has to happen with like someone like Brown and someone like Hakeem Jeffries for Zoran, because I just don't think he cares a lot about what like DSA or like progressives think as much as if when it's coming from like when it's being filtered through the lips of people and organizations he cares about, then I think these people start to care about those things, right?
Yes.
And I just think in general too with primary Hakeem Jeffries has never advocated to primary any DSA elected, right? And I think it's very important that we like those two things stay the same without speaking on behalf of like DSA. I do think it's very important that they continue to have like I don't know if it's a positive relationship, but at least one where he isn't actually trying to like remove people from office.
But Josh, I just don't agree. I mean, I hear what you're saying, right? And that's an improvement. Trying basically eschewing what Josh Gottheimer would probably want leadership to do when he had his little pack that he was setting up. So that's an improvement. But the problem isn't really just with like Jeffries in and of himself. I just don't necessarily think it's. I think it's the most efficient way to get him out of leadership to primary him. And he's a major problem being the leader of the Democratic Party right now. He can't communicate. He can't meet the moment. He's done a better job than Schumer, I guess, but that's in part just because the House functions better than the Senate, and he's able to keep his caucus together. So you're basically saying if DSA mounts a primary challenge to Jeffries, the concern is that okay? Then it opens up primary
I'm not
challenges for
saying we
other DSA electeds.
well, I'm not saying we should or shouldn't because I think like that like 2020 and 2026, not to be all Buttigieg here, but in 2026, if something happens, we should be open to it, right? Or the left should be open to it. But I also think in terms of his district, I'll just say that like with AOC, right, there was the problem that you had someone who was not representative of the district holding that seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you have that with Hakeem Jeffries. And I think, at least from like when progressives have worked with him, and this is like not just you, this is any progressive organization, right? they've been able to get him to move on things through pressure from like organizations that he has a stake in, right? Like stakeholders that he cares about. And I think that might be like the best.
But
push
Josh,
for
this
getting
is
to
one
move
of
on
our.
Doran. And I ultimately think he will endorse Doran too. Like
I don't
don't
really
think he's not
particularly
going
care.
to.
I mean, the fact that he hasn't done so far is like a major problem. It shows that he's eschewing the grassroots energy in the party for a different reason, and that is actively a suck on our chances to stand up to Donald Trump. There's no reason that we should have a guy like Hakeem Jeffries in a safe blue seat like this. Like we need to be. I hear what you're saying, and I think your argument would. I'd be a little bit more convinced by it if this wasn't such a safe blue seat. But we should be primarying all of the corporate Democrats in seats that are going to go Democrat anyway. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I think it's not about losing that seat. I think it's more about like
If you miss,
if you miss or like how you actually want to like affect change. Like I think for me, at least, it's not like the Jeffries primary isn't a simple one, right? That's actually a very hard. That's a much different primary than someone like Crowley for AOC seat, right? And I think on an individual basis, I think he's actually much harder to dislodge. But I actually think he is a little easier to work with than someone like certainly someone like a Pelosi, right? So he's not trampling over like AOC in the same way that she just did for sport. But I also think in terms of his community connections, I think there are community connections where if you hit him there, he will actually hurt and he will actually like do some of the things we want is sort of what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I think it's an interesting debate. I'm not sure that it's either or, frankly. And
I'm not saying this like a representative of like I'm just saying my own personal opinion, right?
Yeah, get it.
I have no idea what DSA is going to do on the seat, so or WFP or any other organization.
And I think they're going to be doing polling, and they're going to make some assessment as to what the chances are, and if there is any type of issues with Jeffries there that in terms of weaknesses electorally, and people will make that assessment at that point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next 4 months in terms of this election, because a lot's going to have to do with how well Mamdani performs there. And
he won that district by 12 points.
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying is if this continues, a Mamdani endorsement could really change things.
Josh, good to hear from you.
You too.
Bye.
Yeah. And by that, I just want to clarify. I mean, a Mamdani endorsing somebody in the district running against Jeffries.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.